Hello there, and welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 842. That is Ocho Cuatro Dos of the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and I hope you're doing well wherever this podcast may find you. I hope you are doing well wherever this live stream may find you, my friends, my compadres, my people, my lovers, my friends. How am I? All good, all things considered. All good, all things considered. As some of you may have gleaned from the title of this particular stream, of this particular podcast, I've had some life updates. I've had a life update that I've had to kind of, mull over and meditate over and marinate over and think about and deliberate over the past weekend. And I thought, you know what? Best to let you guys know so that we can proceed with the content, because at the end of the day, most of you mofos out there don't really care. But oddly enough, this will positively impact those of you who have been crying out for more content. Those of you who've wanted more content from me, who've wanted me to be on stream longer, who've wanted me to be updating you on the Bappaverse, wanted me to updating you on Man United incomings and goings and drama and sneaker news and fashion stuff and Berghain stuff and techno stuff and new stuff and just waffle. All the waffle that I like to speak about my pod and my content and everything else I do online. Some of you guys will be happy. Some of you won't be happy because you'll be like, oh man, come on AG, come on AZ, what the hell is going on? But we're gonna get there in the long run. We're gonna get there. So to make matters easy to digest and to make matters smooth, for those of you who are unaware, over the last over the last maybe year and a half, right? I was looking for a job, basic employment, because before that I was doing some little part-time things here and there. I was trying to basically plug in some of my financial gaps, and to be completely honest, some of my financial gaps happened because of the flipping demonetization of Tazs. Tazs being monetized for the longest time as it was holding me down super nicely. I didn't need to go out and get anything. That's why I was banging out so many streams and doing so much content. But when Tazs got demonetized, it's kind of temporary. I kind of appeal it in January. I've got one appeal denied, I think in October. I tried to re-appeal it, so I have to wait another 3 months, so I can appeal it again in January. But when Tazs got demonetized, it kind of threw my situation for a loop. But regardless, you take personal responsibility. It's all your fault. So you meditate, you breathe in, you breathe out. I decided to go out and try to look for a job to kind of plug in those financial gaps. But if I didn't get demonetized from Tazs, I would have been fine, but that happened. Cool. I'm looking now, and guess what happened when I started looking? I found out that in the time that I had the job last, and in the time that I was taking Tazs more seriously, and I didn't need one, the job market had completely changed. My skills, my experience, my previous roles that I was kind of swimming and dancing in, they no longer existed, which made a lot of sense, right? Because a lot of companies during the pandemic, a lot of companies post-pandemic decided to kind of decided to sort of slim down their employees, decided to be a little more streamlined. They didn't need to have a marketing manager and a marketing assistant. You could just get the marketing manager to do everything the marketing assistant can do in one job, or if anything, you could split the roles between 2 people, not 5. So I was finding out that most companies were doing that, or what was really hurting me and really hurting my confidence was that the roles I had previously, I've had roles as being as a community manager, which essentially is just it's just what I had said. A community manager is just like a fancy way of calling somebody like a moderator, essentially. That's basically what you do. You look after the community of whatever company you're working for. Usually they exist on Facebook, they might exist on LinkedIn, they might exist on Instagram, there may be a private Discord, it might be a WhatsApp chat, but it doesn't require much work. But I remember in the past being a community manager for a few startup companies or whatever they may be, I was getting paid pretty well. I was getting paid maybe north of 28,000 a year to just essentially sit on social media all day, retweeting stuff, liking things and posting things. That's it, right? And I was getting those jobs. I was getting a lot of those jobs over the years. A lot of those jobs easily. I'll drop one, I'll get another one, I'll drop one, I'll get another one. Well, it seems like the job market completely changed. Those community manager jobs don't exist anymore. Nobody doesn't really need a marketing assistant like I was prior, who's just going to sit there and send out email newsletters or do blog posts, because, why would you give somebody 28, 29, 30 grand a year to send out 4 newsletters a week or send out 4 newsletters a month when you could just get the marketing managers to do that plus do the paid ads, plus do, you know, content creation, plus do content calendars, plus do, you know, whatever, what do you call it, content marketing stuff. Like, you know, you can get way more out of somebody for that salary than having me just like clicking one button and stuff. So the jobs that I wanted, or the jobs that I had experience in, didn't no longer exist. Then came the extra bit of a kick in the nuts. So the jobs I did previously in that year where I was doing Tazs seriously no longer exist, or if they do exist, they want you to do way more for them. Cool. Well, it seems like the jobs underneath those are even harder to get. And I'm talking about the ones that just involve you doing customer service stuff. Those are incredibly hard to get hold of. Whether it's shop floor, whether it's doing customer service for a company and answering emails and doing tickets on Intercom or Zendesk, I found those ones just below the ones I did previously. So, you know, I'd say like that, you know, my upper level jobs are like, you know, essentially being a content marketer, being a marketing person, being a social media manager, being a community manager. That's kind of like the top level of my experience. But the ones underneath, which I've done obviously before, as in customer service and as in customer service and operations and shit, those jobs are so hard to get a hold of. And I was like, oh my god, the job landscape has completely changed. I've been out of this for like a year and a half and it's not the same anymore. So I was struggling even to get those. Like, there'll be times where I think I might have even applied for a Tesco role. I think I applied for Tesco Express at one point and I didn't even hear back from them. Imagine. So you're applying for Tesco's and even Tesco's not even giving you back a reply. It's not even like they said no. They just didn't reply back. You know? Which is probably worse than a no. Anyway, long story short, I finally get one right at the end. So, and this is like a 3-month position to do like customer support basically. And to be honest, I probably knew from the first week it wasn't going to go well. I knew from the first week it wasn't going to go well because unfortunately, the sector that this company works in is mostly like in like, you know, accounting and taxes and all sort of malarkey. But I think when I initially saw the role, when I initially was given the role, because I got recommended, this is another thing that really hurts as well, is that I was recommended this by like a friend of a friend. So, you know, it's kind of like a bit of a kick in the nuts for them that you recommended me. And then after a month, you know, I got told to, yo, get the hell out of here. But to be fair to me and to give myself a little bit of a bly, they did sell me a bit of a dream, which I understand why they did it in the company sense. I understand why they did it, right? So they sold us a dream in that it felt like I was just going to go into this role and I was basically going to be a customer support, you know, agent who's just going to respond to tickets of people saying, hey, I want to use this service. Can you tell me about your service? And then I sit there and tell them about their service, or I answer questions based on the service that we offer. But guess what happened? That wasn't the role. The role was actually a little bit more in-depth than that. You were required not only to tell them about the service that the company you work for does, you were also required to have some basis of tax and accounting knowledge. Now, I don't hold that against them. That's my fault. I wasn't able to kind of learn and to kind of, you know, get it. I think I had a bit of a, what's the thing called? I had an intellectual gap there, and I've always had it even since I was a kid. I think I excelled in every subject in school. I found school incredibly easy. I passed all the levels. I went straight to St. Martin's without doing a foundation. Like, you know what I mean? I always excelled in education. Let's not, you know, cut any corners around that. It's obvious, you know, I'm a smart guy. But when it comes to maths, when it comes to numbers, oh my god, I am a category A redact. When it comes to maths, when it comes to numbers, I am a category A redact. In every other subject area, I'm confident. If you give me 6 months to a year, I'm knocking that shit down. I'm like, nothing is beyond me. But mathematics, anything to do with like accounting, I'm all over the place. So as soon as I heard what was going on and I was figured out, oh no, this isn't just a recommend people the service role and it required a little bit more knowledge, I think I kind of got a little bit you know, I feel I got a little bit I got knocked off my square a little bit, and I was struggling ever since then. But to be fair to them, they did provide a lot of training, they did provide a lot of support, blah 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 over time. But it was pretty clear as the weeks were going on that I was definitely the weakest link in the group. And the thing is, like, it was like a 3-month contract, so it was meant to be October, December, January was the 3 month. No, sorry, November, December, January. It was a 3-month contract, and the idea behind that was that because the tax deadline is coming up in like January 31st, self-assessment deadline, they wanted extra people in to kind of help with the workload because usually people leave their taxes until the last minute. So they brought us in, 5 of us. But it was pretty clear from like the first couple of weeks that I was definitely one of the or the weakest link within that 5. And God almighty, man, for somebody like myself who excels, in most of my areas of life, career, education, to work somewhere where you don't want to be anyway, right? In the first place, somewhere where you want to leave anyway, but then be regarded as somebody that's the lowest of the people that you joined. Yeah, that shit will humble you. That shit will humble you. Let's not even get into the side of like ages and shit. Who cares about all that stuff? But that would actually add an extra level of fucking, salt, humbleness, and embarrassment. But feeling like, and it being made very clear to you that you are the weakest link and you are kind of holding everybody back that was hard to take. I'm not gonna lie, but I give myself credit in that I did try. It kind of hurts because I tried, because I think it's easier. When you don't try, it's easy to just say, oh yeah, fuck this place, fuck the job. But I did try. I tried my hardest to learn this shit. But I knew I was in trouble the moment we were doing training and I was nodding off. I knew I was in trouble when we were doing training and I was falling asleep. I knew I was in trouble. I knew it. So, in the end, they told me, Agostino, you're fired. So in case anybody's wondering why this pod is titled this way, it's because I, Agostino Zinga, found the way, only I could find a way to get fired from a temporary position that was only 3 months, right? It was only a 3-month position. With obviously there was aspects of it where like, oh, if you do well, you can stay on. But technically it was only a 3-month position. Only I could find a way to get fired from a 3-month role after month 1. And to make it worse too, I think the reason why they did it now is because, if I'm not mistaken, I think this week actually would have been the week where we will start working from home. So for the most part, we're going into the office, a co-working space. But I think this week would have been the week where we're going to work from home because they gave us the training. They feel like we're comfortable enough. They feel like they're confident enough to leave us to our own devices. But I think they were so worried that if they sent us home, the hour was going to be really, really bad. Because imagine if I'm bad in the office and I'm not getting the numbers that I should be getting, or I'm not flipping doing the answer I should be doing, and my knowledge isn't where it should be, they'll probably think to themselves, shit, if we let this guy go home, he might be answering 1 ticket a day. You know what I mean? We can't do that. So, kudos. I understand. It was a bit of a kick in the teeth, hard to take, and to be a little bit critical of myself. I'm not happy how I handled it. In most situations, I'm very magnanimous. I'm very like chill. I'm very calm. I'm very able to kind of take on my own. I've always got the kind of extreme ownership mantra running in my head. Jocko Willink, right? Big up Jocko Willink. Good. I've always got that extreme ownership thing running in my head. But for this one moment, I was a bit bratty. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit bratty. I might have said some things that I probably shouldn't have said in the little, meeting thing we had afterwards. So I do kind of regret that. A part of me wanted to be like, send them an email after, be like, you know what? I should have said that. You guys were good. I was just shit at the job. No hard feelings. But I thought, you know what? Let's just leave it like that. Sometimes, even though I think deep down I'm a good guy, I think so, right? Generally, I'm not flipping hiding any babies underneath my flipping flat. I don't kill women at night or anything. But I think generally I'm a good person. But sometimes, just leaving things a little bit tense and being a little bit of combative can sometimes be nice. It can feel good. Even though I didn't really need to do that and it wasn't their fault, it did make me feel good at the end. I'm not gonna lie, because they embarrassed me by making me feel like I was a fucking ugly duckling. I was a black sheep, right? They're kind of, especially towards the end, I was like, shit, man, because I haven't been in a working environment in a long time in it, so I forgot what it felt like when you kind of get when you get ostracized. Like, have you seen that when somebody is clearly not liked? Because I've seen it. I think I've not seen it in workplaces where you're not doing well. I've seen it in workplaces where someone doesn't like somebody. Happens a lot mostly in retail. It doesn't really happen in office spaces. But in retail, if somebody's not liked, people tend to kind of avoid them and just kind of lead them to their own devices. So it was kind of gnarly for me to be that person. I was like, raw, Ted. I'm that person. Like, I'm being like, people, like especially let's say the senior management or the whatever, they were like real cunts, like towards the end. Like, one of them didn't talk to me at all for like 2 days. I was like, oh shit, something's going on. I think I kind of got an inkling of what was happening. I think I knew the end was near. So one of them did talk to me for like 2 days. And then when I brought it up, he's like, oh yeah, that's how you perceive it. I was so bruv about how I perceived it, man. Like, come on, man. Let's not play games. I don't see it. You're ignoring me because you know the end was near. I get it. I was marked, right? I had the fucking cross on my fucking door. I get it. But let's chill. So that was kind of weird, and also weird to have like there was a girl that was like working kind of above me who was like a permanent staff there. She wasn't like a senior or anything, but she was there. But she kind of acted like she was. Somebody who's like, she's a full-timer there, but she kind of acted like she was a seniority, but she didn't really have any seniority. And I could tell even her, like, the friction that was beginning. Like, she was really starting to roll. Every time I had to ask a question, she would roll her eyes. She wouldn't look my way when she was answering a question. She keep staring at the laptop. And I was like, raw, Ted, man. This, like, bad-built fucking, like, this bad-built faux Amazonian fucking piece of shit bitch. Like, how dare you have this attitude to me? But then I took a breath in. I was like, you know what? I get it. If I was looking at it from her point of view, and there was someone like me here who just couldn't get it and kept asking questions and kept annoying you throughout your workday, I understand. You know what I mean? And I wasn't even like trying to I was trying to learn. Don't get me wrong, but maybe they could kind of sense I wasn't really, really, really trying to learn. If that makes sense. I was trying to learn to do the job, but I wasn't trying to learn to like learn it. Look, I was like, look, I don't need any of this knowledge. I don't need to know about fucking LL, limited liability companies and fucking taxes and locom or whatever that fucking shit is. I need to know any of this shit. Why do I need to know this shit? But I guess in the end they were right. I didn't need to know this shit because I'm the one that got told to skedazzle. So that was kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie. So the funny thing about it again is that I was complaining on here about the job. I was saying, oh man, it's fucking me over. I can't stream, I can't record, I can't do content, I can't do my DJ mixes, and my life is ruined. And now look, you see, look at the universe. Look at what God does. You start crying, complaining. God says, okay, here. Now you have all the time. Now here you go. You wanted time? Here's the time. You wanted time? Here's your friggin' time. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. Leaving work at midday, and then at the end of it, yeah, we're gonna, blah blah blah. I was like, cool, no problem, I get it. Got my stuff. And oddly enough, this company is weird. They let you use the, oh yeah, if you want to say bye to your friends on Slack. So, cool. Wasn't too bothered. So I went down. We have our little intern fucking 3-month people chat thing. So I just sent a little a little thing to those people on Slack, which is interesting because usually they don't let you do that. But let me do that, because usually, you might fly off the handle and just start saying some mad shit in the main chat. So I just said, yeah, bye to everybody, picked up my stuff and just kind of dipped in it. And that was it basically. Midday, midday cycling back home with all my stuff, with my lunch I hadn't eaten yet. Like, what? Oh, that was a funny, honestly. Midday coming back home on like the Friday. Was it Friday? No, I think it was Thursday. Coming back home on the Thursday with like my, my lunch already in the Tupperware. Hadn't eaten. Okay, cool. Now eat it now at home. So yeah, that chapter's over. So man got fired. Yes, in the moment it kind of felt a little bit embarrassing given the situation, because it was a 3-month contract and I couldn't last 3 months, whatever. But given the nature of the job, given my lack of ability to take in numbers and all that sort of shit, I'm not too surprised. And in the end, it's probably going to work out for the better for me in the long term. Probably going to work out. That's what I'm thinking. Not in terms of, oh yeah, I'm going to become this fucking big, amazing guy, but just more so in terms of like, now I know, you have to be very like, it's hard to say that when you don't have anything, when you don't have a job and shit, but you have to be really careful about the things that you say yes to, because sometimes just in terms of desperation, you can say yes to something that you probably have no business saying yes to. And that's probably the situation that happened with that job. I probably should have never agreed to take it in the first place, but I was in a position where needs must, and I took it. I guess I don't regret it now, kind of, because it kind of, it got me out of that situation. I was able to kind of, have a bit of movement and whatever it may be. And also off the back of that, I was able to have like other interviews as well that kind of, maybe will result in something in the future. But damn, son, damn. It's been a long time since I felt inadequate. It's been a long time since I felt like, okay, cool, I don't know what I'm doing. And that was one of the times. And let me tell you, there's nothing more humbling to somebody who thinks a lot of themselves, intellectually, to go somewhere at a job that you feel like you're better than or you're above than, and then they go, you know what? You fuck off. There's nothing more humbling about that. Nothing in the world can be more humbling than you thinking so highly of yourself, and the place that you go to brings you back down to reality and says, you know what? You're probably not as good as you think you are. You're probably not as smart as you think you are. And you're not as that big of a catch as you think you are. So yeah, that was what it was. So big up the very short-lived employment arc, you know. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. So big up everybody who didn't know that. So yeah, just in case you don't know, I got fired. I got fired. I got FIRED'd. Let go. 3-month contract. Mad thing. But we're back here now. The good thing is we're back here. We're going to be streaming a bunch more, recording a bunch more. And yeah, man, this is where we're going to be. So you're going to see a lot more content from me. The Patreon's going to be going up. We're going to be pushing this thing out here. We're going to be streaming a bunch more on a random show. And we're going to be putting out a lot more Tazs, not stopping, not crying, not complaining. We're going to keep on going. So big up everybody that's been, you know, keeping my spirits up in general. Especially since I haven't been streaming as much and been checking in on me. Big up Young Old Vibes. Big up Uche. Big up Koila. Who else is it? Who else has been reaching out to me? Big up, I think Steve. A bunch of you guys who have been reaching out to me on the DMs and shit. Big up everybody, you know, that's been talking to me on DMs and shit. And kind of keeping my, you know, my spirits alive and shit. I appreciate you. But everything is good. Everything is goody. But unfortunately, your boy got the boot, man. Your boy got the boot. The proverbial boot. But again, not surprised, not too surprised, given how terrible I was at the flipping job. Honestly, given how terrible I was at the job, I'm not fucking surprised. But Jesus, bro. Honestly, constantly being at the bottom of the leaderboard in some job that you don't really care about, woohoo, that kind of hurts, man. I'm not gonna lie. Those weekly reviews, but that was smart though. That was a good decision what they did. They had this 3-month role, but there was always these weekly reviews that you were doing on Wednesday. And every Wednesday, it'd be like, yeah, you do this, do that, improve this, improve that. And every fucking Wednesday, even though they started the job saying, hey, it's not a competition about how many tickets you close, every Wednesday it was like, yeah, you're bottom of the leaderboard. I was like, hold on, you said it wasn't a competition about tickets. It's about making sure you get the answers right. So I'm spending all this time crafting these perfect answers on these emails, but actually you meant to do everything. But you know how jobs are. They want you to do everything. They want you to answer as many questions. They want you to get all the questions right. They want you to have the best questions to, you know, to stop the amount of back and forth. It's like, yeah. But I couldn't really complain about that because I was the only one that couldn't do it. So I couldn't be like, oh shit, I couldn't like, you know, I couldn't throw out the race card because everyone else on the team was, you know, non-whites. And I couldn't, you know, throw out the fucking, it's too much mental health shit because the other people were just smashing it. You know what I mean? I was the only one that wasn't able to kind of get it. So I have to take that on the chin. Man, I have to take that on the chin. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm a little bit annoyed because the co-working space was kind of nice, man. I didn't really get to use it much. The co-working space was open on the weekends that I was working in. It wasn't too far from where I lived, so it was a good little commute. So I was getting my cycling, hence why I was, you know, people were calling me Azempic and shit. I was getting my fucking cardio in. I was like cycling every day. What's that, 8 miles a day, which I'm probably going to start keep doing anyway. I was cycling every day, 8 miles a day. I think it's maybe more than 4, maybe 9. I think it was 4.5 miles. So 4.5 miles, one either way, back home and shit. Obviously that, you know, getting the fucking LBs off. And the co-working space was pretty sick. The co-working space opened on the weekends. All you needed was just a car to kind of scan yourself in. So I could have streamed in there. I could have used it to do stuff. You know what I mean? It was a pretty cool space to kind of hang out in. But hey, it's over. But to be fair anyway, to me as well, it was taking a lot out of me. I'm not gonna lie. And I didn't know, like, you know, it's probably a part of like maturity, I guess, realizing that unfortunately I'm at the stage in my life, and I think most of you are probably like this too. Probably, most of you guys are probably much younger than me as well, so that's probably even more embarrassing because you probably got your lives figured out way more than I have. But I'm at a stage in my career now where I can't really do these like, how do you call them? I can't really do these like bullshit jobs. They don't really exist anymore. You know, I've got too much experience. I'm too old to do a bullshit job. If I get back into employment, it has to be like either like a proper like, you know, lower level job like working on a shop floor, working in a bar, or it has to be like a proper job in the office. I can't just be somebody just clocking in, clocking out, and just pressing buttons. No one's gonna pay me for that. They're gonna want to get the most out of me, which is gonna require me to spend more time there, you know, commit more of my brain cells. And I was really noticing how difficult it was to do that type of job and also balance content and shit. It's just really hard to do. Obviously you can do it, don't get me wrong, it is possible, but I found it mentally taxing. And I started to understand a lot of people who like enjoy watching like, you know, what you call it, reality TV and stuff, and all that sort of like, you know, what I call like microwavable TV. I understood it a lot more after working this job because it just allowed you to kind of like, you know, tune out and to kind of let your brain just rest, because you don't have to think watching those shows. You can watch baddies. You don't need to figure out the plot. You don't need to know anyone's name. You can kind of figure out what's going on. Real Housewives, Love is Blind. You can kind of just figure out what's going on, even with your back turned. You could be on the fucking toilet and your phone could be outside the door and you can still figure out what's going on. So I understood that more, because you don't want to engage your brain in watching a documentary or watching some Ken Burns movie thing. You just want to just chill. So I find it very difficult at that time to kind of do that 9 to 6 it was as well. It wasn't a 9 to 5, it was a 9 to 6 as well, which was good because I had an hour break. I'd take my laptop to work every day and like edit, or I'd kind of set up the stream, or I'd fucking upload the audio podcast and shit. So I was trying to do that, balancing both things, but it was a lot. Do you know what I mean? Rushing to eat my food in like 10, 20 minutes and then fucking uploading the audio thing on the thing. And it was a lot. But anyway, the other good thing about it too, actually, to give them bly, was the little company dinners. They were quite good. We went to quite a few little company dinners, company drinks and shit. So been a lot of times since I've been to those type of things. Those are quite, chill to go to. You get fucking drunk and you get fed on the company's card. No problem with that whatsoever. Ordering pizzas at lunch all the time. There was always some weird day at the co-working space. Oh, today's burger day. Today's muffin day. There was always something to eat for free downstairs, which was kind of nice. But I don't know, man. I don't really care about that stuff as much as I did in the past. Maybe it's a thing when you're younger. You're like, oh my God, they got free beer. But I don't really give a fuck. If I want to buy beer, I'll just buy some beer. It's not that big of a deal. But it was enjoyable at that moment, in that month that I was in there. So that chapter's done. The Aggo employment 9 to 5 era is done for now. It might start up again later. I'll let you guys know if that is the case. But for now, we are back fully unemployed content creator wave. Okay, this is what we're doing out here. All right, unemployed, immigrant, minority, IC free content creators, stand up, wave your fists in the air. We're out here. Okay, big up all my minority, unemployed content creators, working class. We're doing the best given what we're available. We're doing the best with what we have available. Anyways, enough of that. Let's move on. Jay-Z's in big trouble. Jay-Z is accused in a civil lawsuit of raping a 13-year-old girl in the 2000s along with Sean Diddy Combs. Crazy news that just blew up on the time. I'm sure some of you guys have heard about it. Let's quickly read the report. Jay-Z, the star rapper and entrepreneur, whose real name is Sean Carter, was accused in a lawsuit on Sunday of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000, allegedly, along with Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said that the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Shoot after party. No, MTV Video Music Awards after party. The federal lawsuit also was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Combs as a defendant. It was refiled Sunday to include Carter. Texas-based attorney Tony Busby, who filed the suit, did not comment. Carter called the allegations idiotic in a lengthy statement Sunday evening and alleged that Busby was engaged in unprofessional behavior. A spokesperson for U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York declined to comment on whether the office was pursuing a case when shown NBC reported the lawsuit. Busby has filed several lawsuits in several months. All have withheld their complaint through name, accusing Combs of assault and rape. This is the first suit in which he's named another high-profile defendant. In a statement, legal representative and Combs called for the suit's shameless publicity stunt designed to extract payments from the celebrities who fear having lies spread about them. Federal prosecutors in New York criminally charged Combs in September for racketeering, sex trafficking, and other crimes, and he is behind bars in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after he was denied bail for a third time last month. Prosecutors said that in a court hearing last month that they are in the process of potentially bringing more charges against Combs in the superseding indictment. Before the lawsuit was refiled on Sunday, Carter received a letter from the plaintiff's counsel requesting mediation to resolve a matter. Busby wrote in a suit. In response to the letter, which NBC has seen, Carter filed his own lawsuit against the accuser's attorney. Busby wrote in a suit. The lawsuit claims that in 2000, when Doe was 13, Combs and Carter raped her at a house party after an MTV Music Awards in New York. The lawsuit says that a friend dropped her off at the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall. She did not have a ticket, and she approached various limousine drivers to try and gain access to the show or an after party. One driver of the lawsuit says told her that he worked for Combs and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to the party after the show, told her to return to his car later in the evening after he transported Carter and Combs, the suit says. Later, the driver picked her up, the lawsuit says, and after 20 minutes, they arrived at the White House. They arrived at a White House with a U-shaped driveway. The suit says she had to sign a document she believed to be a non-disclosure agreement on arrival, did not receive a copy to enter the party, which the suit says was filled with celebrities and people doing marijuana and cocaine. She was offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down. Shortly afterwards, the suit says Combs and Carter entered the room with Combs saying, "You're ready to party?" Sorry. You're ready to party, you know, to a 13-year-old. Yo, bury that guy under the prison. That's when she alleges Carter removed her clothes, held her down and raped her while Combs and an unnamed female celebrity watched. She says Combs also raped her as Carter and the woman looked on. The suit says that she was able to resist being forced to perform oral sex on Combs by hitting him in the neck and that he stopped. After the alleged assault, the suit says she grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to the gas station where she called her father, it says. The accuser is seeking unspecified damages. The lawsuit is filed against New York Victims Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act. Ugh. Can you imagine how you'd feel as a dad receiving that phone call from your daughter at some petrol station somewhere? The temptation to just like drive your car and tell her to ask your daughter where the fucking party was and drive your car tell her to get out and drive your car directly through that fence into the fucking house and just blitz everybody that lives in there is so strong. I don't know how he resisted it. Honestly, I don't know how the dad resisted not wanting to drive through that house and just absolutely murk everybody inside. How did he resist that? How did he resist the urge to do so? So, as you can see there, Jay-Z's being accused of R-wording a 13-year-old girl. Now, do I believe it? Is it possible? Yeah. Do I believe it? Nah. Personally. Is it possible? Yes, but do I believe it? No. It's possible because Jay-Z's got a bit of a dicey history in terms of dating underage girls, but in his defense, that was what everyone was doing back in the day. I think he might have dated maybe Aaliyah when she was kind of young. I'm sure he dated, I think it was Foxy Brown when she was young. He got with Beyonce when she was fairly young. But I think back then that was what was going on. I don't think you can kind of begrudge him for that, especially with Beyonce. That's actually his wife and mother of his children now. And those other women haven't really complained about it since then. So I'm not really too fussed about that too much. But, considering everything that's going down, considering all the big names that have yet to come out, because that's the thing that happened with Diddy, right? When Diddy got locked up, everyone was under this assumption that all these big names were going to follow. But sometimes these type of crimes, especially when they involve very high level, high caliber people, the reason why they get away with it is because they're like, you know, they're well-known people with like tons of resources. So it is quite surprising to see a person of Jay-Z's level be mixed up in this. That's the thing that's kind of like, throw him off a bit. Because usually people like him, of his level, of his stature, they're able to kind of like clean these things up back in the day, get it sorted, so it doesn't end up biting them in the butt later on down the line. Someone like Diddy is a bit more maniacal, a little bit more sadistic, a little bit more psychotic. You can see him trying to fight it and like, you know, do the whole like ego thing, because allegedly with the Diddy situation, the situation with that is that I think Cassie's lawyers reached out to him privately to try and get a settlement, but he didn't go for it, knowing full well that yes, they were trying to extort him, but it wasn't like they were trying to extort him based off lies. It actually did happen, and he said no. And obviously she went to court with it, filed the lawsuit, and then it kind of what transpired. So some people would say that if Diddy would have paid her and just made it go away, he probably wouldn't be in prison right now. But I don't think Jay's as reckless as someone like a Diddy. I don't think he's that, you know, I don't think he's as reckless. So I think if he was given the opportunity to kind of like make something like this go away that he knows actually did happen, he'd probably take it. But who knows with these people? Who fucking knows? But the crazy situation about it is how quickly, actually, let me see if I can find it, is how quickly they actually made a statement about it. I think I saw a statement on Rock Nation's fucking X account. They made a statement about it like super quickly. So it feels like there's been a lot of discussion behind the scenes with maybe the accuser's lawyers and Rock Nation and Diddy, and Jay-Z and stuff about kind of sorting this shit out. And they released a statement like, I don't know, within 30 seconds or so of that fucking original lawsuit being put out there. So this is courtesy of Rock Nation's X account. It says as follows. Obviously, Rock Nation, you guys know as Jay-Z's label and just, you know, media imprint overall. It says as follows. This is Jay-Z's words. My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer, quote unquote, named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud that you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Wouldn't you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have the pattern of these types of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human being, Mr. Busby. But I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I am more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I have to sit our children down. One of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and the greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and the human spirit. My heart and support goes out to the true victims of the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for the possibility by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. Yeesh! You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made a way out of the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have a very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake sidekicks will believe the idiotic claims you've leveled against me. If not, the seriousness surrounding them harm your children would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. I find it hilarious that Jay-Z thinks some psychics are fake and sometimes they're real. That's a real thing that kind of telling there. Only your network of conspiracy and fake. So Jay-Z believes in psychics, just not the fake ones, and the fake ones happen to be the ones that talk about him. Not sure about that one, but very strongly worded statement. Very refreshing. I've said it previously that it's always annoyed me when people get accused of these type of things. If they are innocent, they seem to kind of just run away or kind of bury their head in the sand. So if this guy thinks he's innocent and didn't do nothing wrong, I like that he's coming out and all swinging, guns blazing, basically saying, look, without saying it, he's basically saying, I have the time, I have the money, I have the resources to show you for the liar you are. Because no one actually does that, right, in these type of suits, because it just costs too much money. But Jay's got enough money to make an example of this guy if this is actually false. If he is an ambulance chaser of a lawyer, if this is just an attempt to extort him, he's got all the resources available to him to absolutely make this guy look like an idiot. But unfortunately, in the process, he most likely will end up discrediting all the other people that he has levied against Diddy. So in a way, this case might end up helping Diddy. As mad as this may sound, this case might end up helping Diddy. Because if Jay-Z is able to expose Tony Busby, who allegedly is the most successful lawyer in the US, I don't know what that means though. I don't know what how you grade that. But if Jay-Z can expose Tony Busby for being a liar, for basically twisting the truth, for trying to extort people through these civil lawsuits and blah, 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 it might end up exonerating Diddy in some respect. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I watched an academic stream once and he was talking about this case. And he was basically saying that apart from I think Cassie, there's nobody else that's on record with their full name who said anything about Diddy. It's just been a Cassie account. That's the only one. Cassie's the only one that's put her name to it. Everyone else has been a Jane Doe. And all the Jane Does, I think, have been majority represented by Tony Busby. So if this case ends up being fugazi, or they end up being able to pick holes in it, and it ends up to be fabricated or exaggerated or whatever it may be, it's going to make the Diddy situation very hard to tell. And it wouldn't surprise me, you know, it's a very unlikely outcome for most of us, because I think most of us are kind of looking at the evidence and thinking, oh my God, he's going to go down. But we could head into the new year, sometime into 2025, where there could be a headline you might read about Diddy being found innocent or maybe being freed on bail or something. That could be entirely possible, all through this one domino falling. But if it is true, yeesh, it's a mad one. It's a mad one. It's a mad one. It really is a mad one. And it puts all those people on Rock Nation in a weird position, or the artists that are maybe quick to kind of say some shit about Diddy, people that are maybe quick to say stuff about Drake. I found it interesting though, the amount of people who have gone out their way not to report it. I think Complex and a few other platforms haven't posted the Jay-Z lawsuit thing at all. They've avoided it, so you can definitely see where the fucking power and the influence in hip hop in certain places lies. Because when Diddy got accused, everybody was talking about this, but when Jay-Z gets accused, it seems to be a thing where only YouTubers and some publications are talking about it, which is, it kind of is what it is. But let's see how it plays out. Not too sure how it's going to play out, but it is a pretty crazy headline to read when you wake up in the morning and you read that Jay-Z's been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I believe it? No. If I'm being completely honest. But again, what do I know? Absolutely nothing. Moving on to stuff that I do know about. Referee David Coote has been sacked by the PGMOL with immediate effect. Man, this is so annoying and so out of order. So hold your head up, David Coote. He's been sacked. I've been sacked. Everybody's getting sacked. We're all getting sacked, right? Like it feels like there's a sacking and firings in the air. So big up David Coote, my fellow unemployed brother. Hold your head up. Hold your fist in the air. All right, we're gonna make it through, brother. We're gonna break it through. So in case you're wondering who David Coote is, he's the guy, referee, who it was leaked via social media that he may have been a party boy just like me. He might have enjoyed going to afters just like me. He might have enjoyed having some multivitamins just like me. But unfortunately for David Coote, he was with some people who didn't respect the sovereignty and the fucking just the sovereignty of afters. The way you're meant to conduct yourself at an after, they didn't respect it, and they ended up recording him and ended up leaking that footage onto social media of him taking lines, of him clearly talking pretty badly about former managers and about the league in general, and it eventually ended up costing him his job, which obviously I dislike, and I've said it before in previous episodes. Let's read the statement anyway regardless. So it says as follows: Premier League referee David Coote has been sacked by the PGMOL. A video which remains unverified appearing to show... Unverified. We've seen the video. It's verified, bro. We know it's him. A video which remains unverified appearing to show Coote making derogatory comments about Liverpool and their former manager Jurgen Klopp was widely circulated on social media last month. Coote, 42, initially suspended by the PGMOL, and the FA launched its own investigation. The PGMOL investigation also covered a second video which emerged last month appearing to show David Coote allegedly snorting a bit of white powder, a little bit of multivitamin, purportedly during the Euro 2024, where he was one of the assistants bars of the tournament. Okay, I didn't know that bit. Oh, no wonder VAR is so shaky. These guys are fucking railing lines in between calls. No wonder VAR is so shaky. European football governing body UEFA also appointed an ethics investigator to look into the matter. PGMOL confirmed the termination of Coote's employment in a statement on Monday, saying that a thorough investigation concluded he was in serious breach of previous provisions of his employment contract, a position deemed untenable. I want to know though, like, what do they have in their contract as referees that stipulates they can't do a bit of gear on social media? Really? What do they have on their contract? What does it say on the referee's contract in black and white that says you are not allowed to congest multivitamins while you're on work? Who says that? Where? I want to see it, because yes, technically it is gross misconduct. I get it. Cool, whatever. Fucking party pooper, misery guts over there. But is that really a sackable offense? Really and truly? Is it really a sackable offense? Come on, man. The full statement of PGMOL read: following the conclusion of a thorough investigation with Coote's conduct, his employment with the PGMOL has been terminated today with immediate effect. Coote's actions were found to be in serious breach of the previous provisions of his employment, with his position deemed untenable. Supporting Coote continues to be important to us, and we remain committed to his welfare. Yeah, right. Bro, how are you going to fire somebody for doing multivitamins and then want to help them? Surely, if he's doing multivitamins on a job, there's something wrong with him, right? You'd imagine so. But then you're firing him, which is probably going to push him in the direction of doing, guess what? More multivitamins. Coote has a right to appeal the decision to terminate his employment. Oh. The FA also separately investigated an allegation journalistically denied by Coote that he discussed the prospect of giving a Leeds player a yellow card. He discussed the prospect of giving a Leeds player a yellow card. We all hate Leeds, scum. We all hate Leeds, scum. We all hate Leeds, scum. A yellow card with a fan prior to a match in an online conversation. The Sun alleges after Coote booked the player, he messaged the individual back, says, "I hoped you backed as discussed." Oh my God. You see? Now I'm figuring out. That's why he got in real trouble for. I figure he got in real trouble for cussing out Liverpool and their manager. Liverpool are probably one of the most protected clubs in the Premier League, or in England in general. Maybe the only club protected more than Liverpool is maybe Arsenal, right? They've got so many media members who are in their pockets. You can never say anything bad about Liverpool, right? So he disrespected Liverpool, disrespected obviously a legend of the club in Jurgen Klopp. And if this is true, he was doing this like, I don't know what this shit is called, like when you like gamble, corruption, whatever this fucking thing is called, right? Where he's trying to fix some results. This is probably what they were really pissed off about. He probably didn't even get fired for the multivitamins. He probably got fired because behind the scenes he was maybe giving cards out and giving people, tips on who he was going to give cards out for so they can win money and they can split that money with him. You know what I mean? I bet that was what actually was going on. Because I'm sure the majority of those referees in the PGMOL or whatever, or majority of people that work in the fucking Premier League or in football in the FA in general, they're all on the fucking multivitamins. So them to kind of get on their moral high horse and point the finger at this guy is a little bit rich. But I think he primarily got fired because he cussed out Liverpool, cussed out Jurgen Klopp, and it was alleged was colluding with fans to book certain players so that they can win money on betting wise, whatever, and I'm assuming split it with him. The FA said it was investigating allegations as a matter of urgency. Coote refuted the allegation. He discussed giving a yellow card before the match. Coote said, "I strongly refute these false and derogatory allegations. Whatever issues I may have in my personal life, they are never affecting my decision-making process." I love this, by the way. I love this. He's basically saying, no matter how much gear I took, I always was good at my job. I'm a good referee. I love this. I love this confidence. Whatever issues I may have in my personal life, they have never affected my decision-making on the field. I have always held the integrity of the game in the highest regard, refereeing matches impartially and to the best of my ability. PGMOL investigation did not look at the allegation related to the Leeds yellow card. Jesus Christ. There's a timeline of the events here. What does remaining committed to Coote's welfare look like? It's all about making sure he's okay. After the investigation, his position was untenable. We have a code of conduct that we have to sign as referees. They agree to lead life as that's outside of what we've seen over the last 4 weeks. What does that even mean, though? What does that even mean, bro? So what? You can't have a drink? You can't have a bit of a party? You can't go to fucking Thailand and hook up with some fucking women of the night? Or maybe ladyboys? Like, let him have some fun, man. Let me let his hair down. If anything, I want my referees and my assistants to be able to actually completely disconnect from football, so when they come back to football, they're focused. I don't want their whole life to be football. I want them to be able to have a life. I'm the same with players. I've never understood this thing that fans have with players where they want their players to live like this straight life and be so boring, whatever. No, I want my players to be into fucking going to strip clubs if they want to, be hiring all these fucking, adult film stars to have fun within their homes, whatever they want to do. But as soon as it's football time, I want that switch to go on. I don't want them to kind of be pretending to live a somewhat, chill, law-abiding, fucking boring life when really they're animals on the inside. No, do your animal shit away from football so that when you come back to football, you can lock in. That's all I want. That's all I want. But, this country, we're fucking puritanical, we're boring, and we're fucking fuddy-duds. And we're fucking curl clutches as well. We love a pearl clutch in this country. So this is why this is happening. If this was untenable, if you see what's happened, it must have been a big shock for him, as everyone else, when you bear in mind some of those videos are 4 or 5 years old. He agreed it was him, but when it came out, it must have been a shock as everybody. Yeah, that's the thing that's really hurtful, to be honest. Like, these kids who were at an afters with David Coote, which is random in itself, right? I think that's super random. To be somewhere in the world where you end up at an afters, and you end up at an afters that happens to be in David Coote's house, or he's in your house. random as fuck, and they hold on to these videos for 4 years. And somehow they want to leak them. I don't know why they leaked them now. I think the story goes that one of the kids involved in the video allegedly was blackmailing him. Some people are alleging that one of the kids involved in the video might have been involved in some GAY stuff with David Coote. Maybe he's like, they don't want to be ousted and shit, so that's why they leaked it. But some people are suggesting that most likely he was trying to blackmail David Coote. David Coote might have been paying up to a certain point. Maybe the money went up because it's heading into Christmas. Maybe the guy got greedy and said, hey, I want fucking $5,000 now every day. David Coote didn't want to pay, and then boom, it got leaked, and that's it. You know what I mean? But I generally think, in my general impression, is that no one should be recording anybody in fucking afters. I think it's bad enough when people are recording people in clubs and shit, in bars and pubs. Like, I've seen a lot of people do it online where they share pictures of it. I've never understood that people taking pictures of people kissing or people making out in clubs. Like, look, you don't know these people. Why are you recording them making out in a nightclub? Like, let people make out in nightclubs in peace. Like, let them do what they want to do in peace. Like, leave them alone. If anything, the only thing I maybe might agree with is maybe somebody's causing a ruckus outside in the streets, cool. But if they're in some sort of establishment, like, kind of, turn the phones off. So I think good etiquette in afters is to never record people. If you're going to record people, obviously have some sort of shared, trust between each other, that you're only sharing the videos between each other and it's not going to go anywhere else. But I think in general, there should be no recording anybody, especially with somebody well known. I think one of the beauties of nightlife, which is kind of a weird thing to say, is that sometimes you can cross paths with like unexpected people. You can maybe be outside sometimes and you might bump into somebody well known, like an actual celebrity. And I think part of the thing that makes it fun is basically acting like they're just like a regular person and just having a laugh with them. And usually, maybe at some point, if you're able to and you're lucky to, you might end up befriending them. They might end up being a close friend of yours. You might end up kind of going out with them socially again. So I think that relationship is probably worth more than snapping a picture or recording them in that moment. You're probably gonna have way more fun having this random relationship with this random fucking celebrity person than you are gonna do getting some fucking clout points and some, social media followers because you share some video of this guy doing what he was doing, which you were also doing. It makes no sense, personally. I fucking hate it. So, unfortunately, David Coote trusted the wrong people. The guys that recorded him fucked him over, basically ruined his life, essentially, because I don't think anything he did was inherently wrong. I think everybody else in the league does exactly the same thing that he does, if not worse. And I think the kids have a lot to blame for what they did and how they ruined his life. I'm not gonna lie, but hopefully for everybody else, it's a wake up call. Chill out, relax. Let's not be too hasty with certain things. Let's watch out who we're around and shit and go from there. But hold your head up, David Coote. We are the fired boys. We are the unemployed boys. I got sacked last week. David Coote got sacked this week. Hold your head up, brother. Hold your head up. Talking about people holding their heads up. Have you seen this? Finally, after months of waiting, months of waiting, or maybe let's say not months, let's say weeks. After weeks of waiting, brother, was 1 minute before we do this. After weeks of waiting, the Berghain birthday timetable has finally been released, but it hasn't been released. It got leaked on the Berghain community subreddit, one of the best subreddits ever in the history of subreddits, so big up those people over there. It hasn't actually been put out officially on the Berghain website, from what I'm aware of. Let me actually check, but I'm pretty sure it has not been put out on the actual official Berghain website just yet. People are still waiting for it to be put out. Yeah, look, see, it's still not out yet. It's still not up there. I don't know why that's the case, but for some reason, Berghain still haven't put it out, even though it's happening this Friday. So I'll be in Berlin actually this Friday. I land sometime in the afternoon, I think. Probably going to record a bunch of streams, so you probably see me recording on the Friday coming up. But I'm going to head there early as possible to have some fun and enjoy the 20th anniversary of Berghain. I think the last birthday I went to might have been the 18th, so this will be a nice one to go to. But the timetable has officially been released, and it's a banger straight away. So from the 13th, I guess from the Friday, the first day, you've got Fido and DJ Pete, who I also want to see. DJ Pete has seen play at Powerhouse and Powerhouse predominantly at that bar called Paloma. Big up Finn Johansson, puts on one of the greatest nights. Actually, I think that's happening. Actually, yes. I think, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it happening again? I swear that's happening. Yeah, I think there's another oh my god, there's so much on that weekend, and oh my god, I'm gonna die. I think I might die. I think there's a power disco happening. So there's Powerhouse that Finn Johansson does, which is usually it's him and another DJ going back to back kinda. Powerhouse is obviously its name is in the genre is in the title, and then Power Disco is mostly disco. One of the best kind of like parties I've been to in a long time, especially in a club that I haven't really not that familiar with in Paloma in Berlin. But there's actually one on there's one on the 14th. So I'm gonna be, I might be actually dead. I might die on that particular weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I might particularly die. But DJ Pete usually plays at the version of this, which is called Powerhouse. But he's gonna be obviously at Berghain. So I've got a jam-packed weekend. So the plan is to kind of arrive on the Friday, get situated, breakfast, whatever, check into the Airbnb, stream for a little bit, change, and then head out. And then I want to get and queue up as early as possible. I'm not saying the time because I don't want to bait up my time. Everyone gets there when they want to get there, but the queue's going to be fucking crazy. So I want to get there as early as I can on a Friday, get in, get my wristband, dance a bit for a little bit, and then go and sleep, and then come back in the morning, and obviously go to maybe Power Disco in the Saturday as well, because Power Disco is happening at Paloma on the 14th. So many things to think about. Anyway, regardless, the timetable is crazy because I've got to probably mark down who I want to see and kind of be, or maybe someone's gonna actually. I remember somebody making an app. I don't know if that person still exists. There's a person on the Berghain community subreddit that made like an app that you could kind of like select people that you wanted to see on the timetable, to kind of make a little plan for yourself, an itinerary of sorts. So timetable, we've got opening Fiedel back to back with DJ Pete in the main room. And from what I can see here, everyone gets like, what is it, 4.5 hour set basically? Everyone's playing a 4.5 hour set. I think before I read it was free, so I guess maybe the 30 minutes just to kind of like get people on the decks or something. But it's a 4.5 hour set. So you got Fiedel back to back with DJ Pete. Then you got Surgeon playing. So some people are playing back to back, some people are playing on their own. So you got Surgeon playing on his own. Then you got Face Fatal back to back with Terence Fixima, Kyle Geiger back to back with Vincent Newman, Etap Kyle and Daria Kozlova, which is a couples thing, which would be that should be a vibe actually. I might actually want to see this. I'm not the biggest fan of either, not to bury the lead or anything, but I think together they might actually be fire. I'm not gonna lie, I might have to see that. And you got Miss Kitten back to back with Marcel Dietman, that should be a fucking burner. Honey Dijon by herself. You got Amatech back to back with Ernst Code Request. And then on the 15th, which is the Saturday or the Sunday, right? I think the 15th is a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, right? 15th is a Sunday, yep. On the Sunday, you got Renee Wise back to back with Rod Had. This is probably where it's gonna be. This is probably gonna be at its most rammed, I think. No, sorry, its rammed will probably be around here, from Etap Kyle down to Amotech and Answer Code Request. And the probably longest queue is probably going to be on the 15th. That Sunday is just going to be hours and hours people queuing. I'm probably going to take some pictures and videos to show you what's going on, but it's going to be fucking crazy. So you got Norman Nodge, Amaral, you got Sinodi playing on his own. You got Fadi Mohem back to back with Ben Clark, Bestie Hira playing on her own. You got Kelza back to back with F Dimin, which would be a good one. Steffi back to back with Tasha, Lemfaki on their own. Luke Slater by their own. Jacko with Barker. Tamo Sumo and Coote, another couples thing. That should be good to see. Panorama Bar. You got Dinky. Oh yeah, I forgot Dinky's playing. Dipsky and Matthew Smiles. Oh, Cormac back to back. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. So hold on. Let's start on 14. So you got Cormac back to back with Curses on 1 p.m. Who's playing 1 p.m. there? Oh, you see, I can't even see. Look at the clash already. I can't see. If I want to see Etap Kyle and Daria Koskova, I have to kind of jump between both rooms because I want to see Cormac and Curses. That's gonna be a fucking fun time. See those two play back to back. So I'm probably gonna have to be running up and down the stairs to be seeing both sets. But it's in one room or in one building. No big deal there. You got Richard Akimbembe back to back with Parallel Line, and Backmaker back to back with Galagos. You got Seth Troxler playing by himself, which might be decent. Orgazon back to back with Ryan Elliott. That could be quite nice actually. I'm not gonna lie. Who else is here? I want to see OC back to back with Soundstream. Maybe Roy Perez, Avalon Emerson. Oh, that's a barnstormer. Not gonna lie there. Natalie Robinson, Virginia might also be very good. Actually, that's what I'm wondering. Why didn't Virginia play with Steffi? Haven't they? Is that true? They've broken up. I'm not sure if that's true. I think I read somewhere that Steffi and Virginia might have broken. That's probably why they're not playing together. But probably would have been nice to see Steffi and Virginia play back to back. But anyway, you got Boris back to back with Ralph. That should be a good one too. And then on the 16th, you got Gerd Jansen back to back with And and then however you got whoever these people are playing who I don't really give a fuck about. But that's basically the lineup. The timetable has been leaked, unfortunately, for those of people, maybe people who associated with Berghain aren't really happy about it, but I'm happy about it because, you know, being a tourist, I kind of need this to be sorted ahead of time so I can kind of stop being panicky and, you know, whatever, anxious. So now I know Wagwan. Essentially, I'm going to be there from early doors anyway, and then of course probably come back later on, maybe to see, is that, well, not probably, I definitely will be coming back later on in the afternoon to see probably Etap Card, Miss Kitten, Marcel Dietman, maybe even Honey Dijon, and obviously see a bit of Renee Wise as well play. But yeah, it's going to be a mad one. It's going to be an absolute mad one. Can't flipping wait. But oddly enough, the people that actually do Berghain, allegedly this person, this is a Berghain light technician reaction to the birthday timetable leak. So this is actually a bad thing. I didn't know this is a really bad thing. Allegedly, whoever leaked this timetable wasn't meant to leak it, which is probably the reason why they posted it and deleted their account straight away. People do that sometimes a lot. You know, it's a good way to kind of get information out there without it coming back to you. So you post it straight away, then delete your account. That's why it says deleted there. You don't see who posted it. But somebody that works at Berghain, allegedly, this person called Pareka Binar, who allegedly is a lighting technician there, says as follows on their Instagram stories. As many of you know, I love the disco. This place is still like no other place, even after 20 years. We have to protect it and be thankful that what we have every single weekend. It is so stupid that someone posted the timetable before the official announcement. Please stop posting or especially leaking things that happen inside these walls. What happens in Berghain stays in Berghain. Yes, it is just a timetable, but a lot of little things are in the end one big thing. Post how long the queue or how tasty the noodle slider is, but keep the wild stuff in your memories, and if you know internal stuff, do not share it. I agree to a certain extent, but unfortunately we're at a point in time now where this place is so big, so popular, the techno scene is so frothy, it's so hyped up that this is bound to happen. I think I've seen more, maybe because I'm obsessed with this place, but I'm always on the subreddit, always checking the flipping checking the weekend timetable thing and people posting what's going on and people posting the queue. And I think in recent years, other people too can probably attest to this. I think in the last 18 months, I think I've seen more people within the people up to date what's happening at the Berghain. I've seen more people posting, oh, so and so posted a video inside the club than I've seen ever in my entire life going there in the last 20 years or so. I think in the last 18 months, I've seen a real uptick in people posting videos of themselves inside Berghain, getting reported or getting spoken about on the Berghain subreddit, maybe being reported to a staff member and eventually getting kicked out and their account going private. But I've seen more of that happening over the years. I think that's definitely a sign of like a shift in the people that go there, a shift in the mentality, and blah 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 blah. So I think it's almost impossible to keep a lid on that sort of stuff. They do a good job because I think for the most part, a lot of us that go there kind of like treat it like it's our home. So we kind of like, you know, for as lame as that may sound, you know, you're more aware of your surroundings. You're letting people know, hey, you can't do certain things. I've seen regular punters tell off people for doing drugs on the dance floor and telling them to go to the bathroom and shit. So people kind of, there's a lot of like looking after the space, you know, kind of together that kind of help to kind of keep a lid on things. But I think it's quite impossible to really avoid people doing certain things like what they may have done with this timetable leak. It's really hard, especially with a very much hyped 20th birthday party after everything that's happened with the pandemic. It was very hard to keep a lid on it, especially considering people like myself, you know, and others too are probably traveling far and wide just wanting to know Wagwan. I'd imagine a lot of the demand for the timetable came from people that just don't even live there and wanting to know what's going on so they can kind of figure out the day and plan accordingly, because I'm sure some people are going to be flying in on Saturday, on Sunday, blah blah blah. So I think it's really difficult to do, but he does make a good point. This is a little thing, but sometimes when you start taking your eye off the little things, it can end up affecting the bigger thing. So if you start to like turn a blind eye, or you know you're okay with people posting lineups and stuff and leaking stuff like this, eventually it'll get to a point where people start posting other bits and leaking other things. So you kind of have to be like this with these sort of things to kind of keep things where they need to be. And I think Berghain's almost iron grip on the way this club is perceived or presented on the outside is essentially what's kept it so good over the years, despite it being an incredibly commercial, you know, it's not really underground anymore, it's a super commercial club, but I think it's been able to keep its essence and keep its position as being one of the best clubs in the world because they've got such an iron grip on everything that they do, right? They don't fuck around. No one really leaks lineups. Even sometimes on the Berghain community subreddit, you might hear people say, oh yeah, you know, so and so might be ending, but you don't really hear really plans of people playing ahead of time. You usually hear it within a couple of days of the lineup getting announced anyway. So they do a good job of keeping that stuff, keeping a lid on it. But I think it's just going to be harder to do the more popular the club gets, the younger the generation that comes in starts to get introduced to it, and just different people that just don't give a shit. Because I've seen way more, and again, I don't really check the geo tag anymore, but I used to always check the Berghain geo tag on the weekend and see what people are uploading in terms of clips to see if I can find out tune IDs just to see the kind of vibe. And I think there'd be random times I'll see bare people posting like legit videos inside. Like I see people posting pictures of themselves drinking, doing whatever they're doing in the toilet, and that never used to happen in the past. So I think if I'm seeing it, I'm sure they're seeing it. So they're definitely seeing a kind of change in the environment and what's happening over there. But hopefully it won't affect the night. But I am still anticipating an absolute blockade. Anybody that's been to any sort of special event that they put on, they're really good value for money. I said it previously before. Going to these sort of events are really good value for money for a tourist like myself, because let's imagine the ticket price will probably be like, I'm assuming it's probably going to be anywhere between like €50 to €70. It's going to be probably a $5 or €5. I think, is it re-entry or something like that, right? So it's still way cheaper than most clubs in the world, especially in London, to see all of these like super high level incredible DJs play and artists and stuff. It's going to be incredible. So it's great value for money for people like myself, even people that live there. But unfortunately the demand is so crazy, so it's going to be absolutely roadblock. Like the last time I went to one, I'm not gonna lie, I did admit later on, because I was kind of, I didn't want to admit it at the time because I was kind of ashamed. But I think if I remember correctly, I think I might have queued for the 18th birthday. I think I might have queued between 4 to 6 hours before I got in. Before 4 to 6 hours. I think I might have arrived like 4 a.m. or something like that. Something naughty like that, 4 a.m. on a Sunday, and it took me 4 to 6 hours to get in. And that was also, it took super long because people were cutting in. That's what happens all the time with these special events. A lot of people that live there have this sort of like thinking, like, because they live in Berlin and tourists are coming in for these special events, so they have more rights, so they feel more emboldened to cut in and to kind of cut the queue. Obviously they don't know that I'm not the person to cut in front of. Like, I will make a scene, I'm gonna shouting, I'm gonna get into a fight, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna have you just cutting in front of me when I've been standing in the freezing cold fucking Berlin winter waiting to get in, and you just cut in front because you live here. Like, no, that's not happening. Especially if, like, actually, if somebody asked me, I probably would let them in. It really wouldn't be that much of an issue. But it's just the fucking entitlement of walking in, feeling like you own the place. It's like, right, allow it, man. We're all here together, innit? So the cutting in obviously, doesn't help with the queue times, but it's going to be rammed. It's going to be chock-a-block. And if anything, maybe the timetable might actually help to kind of ease the queue. You never know. People might see who's playing when and kind of come at certain times. You never know. But yeah, it seems like the people at Berghain aren't happy about that release of the timetable being put out there. So let's see what happens going forward. Let's see if this is the first and last time these sort of things be put out. I'm not too sure, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to keep waiting and seeing, but I can't wait for Friday. I really can't wait for Friday. And also, I've got somewhere to go on a Saturday. I've got a disco event happening. Finn Johansson playing back to back with or playing alongside Filippo Moscatello, who I don't really know much about, but I'm sure it's going to be fucking awesome. What's it? A festive season, of course, at Power Disco HQ. We interpret it slightly different. FNF Senior Mac Daddy's Vintage Disco Stardust will drop some extra emotional joints for this occasion. So yeah, this should be good as well, because it's one of the only kind of non-fucking techno nights that happen in Berlin as well. So that's going to be a fucking fun time to go out. So I've got my whole weekend planned out. Big up everybody that'll be there. Big up everybody that will be there. Continuing on, I'm sure some of you guys have already seen this, but I thought I would talk about it anyway. Video shows masked gunman pulling a gun on UnitedHealthcare boss Brian Thompson moments before fatally shooting him in New York City. I'm sure most of you have already seen this, but videos emerged of the moments before the murder of a top healthcare boss of a New York City street in what police believe to be a targeted hit. Brian Thompson is shown walking in Manhattan when the killer appears from behind the car and raises the gun, believed to be a fit hit with a silencer from about 15 feet. After the footage cuts, the gunman is shown running across the street and disappearing. Authorities said the man fled on an electric bike into Central Park. The attacker fired multiple times at Mr. Thompson and continued despite the gun briefly jamming, according to the police. Mr. Thompson, 50, was hit at least once in the back and once in the calf during the attack, which happened in the 6th Avenue around 6:45 a.m. He was taken to hospital but could not be saved. There's a picture of the guy. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisk said the killer appeared to have been lying in wait for several minutes. This does not appear to be a random act of violence. Every indication is that it was premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. CCTV image appeared to show a white man wearing an all-black clothing, carrying a grey backpack. Chief Detective Joseph Kenny, from watching the video, it does seem that they is proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunctions pretty quickly. Drones, helicopters, and dogs are now being involved in the hunt for the killer. So, the funny thing about this is that no one knows the motive. Everyone's trying to figure out the motive. Everyone's basically saying that maybe the killer family had something happen to them health-wise, and they weren't able to get a payment out of the, this company that this guy is the CEO for. Maybe they held back some medicine, some care. Maybe they were involved in a lawsuit that healthcare company is currently going through at the moment. I think it's like in the hundreds of millions of dollars and shit. Maybe that guy personally has an issue with the person himself, and he might have a personal issue with someone in his family. Who knows? Maybe just hired by somebody else. Who fucking knows? One thing that was kind of weirdly refreshing to see was that this was clearly somebody that has done this previously before. This is definitely a professional. The way that he calmly walks up behind him, because you've seen, maybe I'm too macabre, but I've seen plenty of gun violent videos and shit, and you see a lot of the panic, a lot of the stress, a lot of the nerves kind of like emanating from the fucking video. But this was done very, very calmly. I think even the point about the gun jamming, I don't think that's even true. I think if I watched a video, I think of it on YouTube, about how the gun loads and stuff, and it does load that way. So instead of it being like a silencer that you see in a movie, you just like allegedly to kind of like get the other bullets in the chamber, you kind of have to kind of toggle it to the side. I think I watched a video, I forgot what the makeup it is, but allegedly wherever the gun is, you kind of have to do that maneuver where it kind of looks like it jammed, but it didn't. But even if it did jam, he didn't panic once. He didn't really break his stride. He just stood there and kind of fired off those shots directly to the person. I also like the fact that despite there being a woman, I think, standing at the side of the door, clearly like within view or within the sight of him shooting her, he didn't shoot her either. He aimed directly at the person he was trying to aim at and quickly got away. And you have to assume this guy was a professional because he jumped on an e-bike to get away. You have to be a real professional. You have to be really proficient at what you do. You have to be a real professional to kill somebody in quote-unquote broad daylight. I think it's at 6 a.m. and then jump on a fucking e-bike. You know what I mean? Especially one of the city bikes and shit. That you are really, really unhinged. So clearly this guy wasn't doing this to be a jokey joke thing. But a weird coincidence, a weird thing that might be a positive thing going forward about this sort of thing. Weirdly enough, maybe in a weird way, this is a weird thing to say, maybe this might stop now, this infatuation that we societally everybody has with CEOs, right? Maybe this might stop the kind of the lionizing of CEOs and kind of get them back to actually doing the job that they're meant to be doing, especially CEOs of like big multinational corporations and companies and stuff. Maybe this might make them realize that the public don't see them the way that they see themselves, or even the way they see themselves in the media. And maybe it might make them more responsible. It might make them decide, hey, let me go back to doing the work. Let me go back to making this company profitable. Let me go back to, surprising, delighting our customers, making our employees proud to work here, blah, blah, blah. Servicing our board members, making sure we reach the targets, whatever it may be. Let's go back to doing what I know best, as opposed to just sitting on fucking panels, talking about, remote working, lamenting people that don't want to lamenting people that want to work from home, taking the piss out of the working class, and just generally being a cunt. Because that's what you see from CEOs nowadays on social media. All they're doing is just basically pointing their finger, talking down to us regular civilians and people out there, and essentially trying in their weird way to justify some of their crazy exorbitant bonuses that they get. Like, they don't make any sense. Oh yeah, they're trying to make sense of it. They get all the money. People that work their 9 to 5, that bust their ass, gets none of it. So maybe in a weird way, as callous and as heinous and as sad as this guy's death and assassination was, maybe it might do a good thing overall, because it might make CEOs go back to work. It might make them stop being fucking panelists and podcast guests and actually get back to doing work. Maybe. But on another thing, it also could be, as Tim Dillon says, a rallying call for people to go and start attacking CEOs in a weird way. As crazy that is, I can see that being the case too. We could be in a situation now where people have finally realized that, hey, the power doesn't lie with these politicians. The power even doesn't lie with these fucking presidents. Sometimes the soft power lies with these people that are heads of corporations and shit. And people might start targeting CEOs now for causing them the undue pain that they've kind of been, having in their lives, which is obviously something that has been spoken about, or kind of an idea that's been floated within their circles. Because I think I read a report recently that said a lot of companies, a lot of these kind of like big medical companies and corporate companies in general in America, are now starting to take off that page on their website, because a lot of these companies have pages on the website where it's like our team, and it has like all the senior management listed there, like taking those fucking cool headshots. So a lot of those companies now have removed those pages from their websites, so that it doesn't give people easy access to know who is the leadership of their companies. But unfortunately, Wayback Machines work, archive.ph works and shit, so is it possible to remove those things? But a lot of companies are starting to put those things down and be like, you know what, we're not going to make our CEO a front-facing public person. If they want to be public, they can, but we're not going to push it public, and we're not going to have them fucking have op-eds written about them in TechCrunch or in New York Times and shit. We're going to keep it a bit private so that people who are unhinged won't go out and fucking murder them and shit. But it's kind of wild. But the other wild thing about this thing is the rewards that have been offered about this guy. I've seen rewards of like $10,000 for this guy who essentially is like John Wick in real life, right? Like, people are offering $10,000 for information to find this guy. And it's like, bruh, if you want the public to be involved in finding this person who's clearly a stone cold killer, surely you have to offer them a little bit more money than $10,000. Like, putting yourself in harm's way to point this person out, report him to the police and shit, knowing full well that it could absolutely upend your life for $10,000. Get fucking fucked. Honestly, get fucked. All these images they found of him, it's funny because, you can't really tell much about him. It's just a white dude, right? Like, some people are saying he might be good looking, cool, but regardless, just a white dude essentially. If he dyes his hair a different color, he completely changes his appearance. We don't know what his face looks like under the mask, because that's something we realized during COVID. Having a face mask can completely change your, the makeup of your face and how people kind of perceive you. So just showing his eyes, it doesn't really show anything. So these images where they're trying to, and I like the police, they're trying to make it seem like they know where he is and they're getting close to finding him. It's like, no, you're not. There's no way you fucking know who this guy is. He's just a regular white dude. There's no way you could pick him out if you didn't know if you just saw his eyes. I don't personally think so. And once he takes off his mask, he completely changes himself. So this whole idea that people should be, going out of their way to be fucking amateur sleuths to find him out is crazy. But I do like there was a freaking, there was a post somebody uploaded, I think, online, of this kid online who's, for some reason, he does it by himself anyway as a little hobby on the side. He scrapes data from like city bikes and tracks them all across New York City. And I guess, obviously, because he does it all the time, he was able to pinpoint which city bike this assassin got on. And he's able to figure out where he jumped off and shit. So some of his information was able to help the police in terms of figuring out where he kind of went after he shot the guy, which is fucking wild. That coincidence, isn't it? There's just this kid in his New York apartment just sitting there, Tism is strong, scraping data from city bikes who knows what he's doing that for. But latest update here regarding the situation. It says here, man questioned in Pennsylvania over gun similar to one used in UnitedHealthcare CEO shooting. Authorities are questioning a man in central Pennsylvania in connection with the slaying of UnitedHealthcare boss Brian Thompson. The man in Altoon drew the attention of the investigation in part because he was found with a gun similar to the one that was used in last Wednesday's deadly shooting. Two sources familiar with the matter told NBC. Imagine getting arrested because you had the same gun that he used. Like, get out of here, man. It's a good gun, isn't it? That's why he used it. Why are you arresting me for? Go find the guy who did this shit. The person being questioned was at a McDonald's where customers thought he looked suspicious and called the police. He was in the McDonald's showing off the gun that the other. Yeah, by the way, you know this. Look. This is the gun that guy had. The person being questioned was at McDonald's where customers thought he looked suspicious and called the police. He was found to have a fake New Jersey ID, a gun similar to the one used to kill Thompson with a silencer. Two senior law enforcement said Thompson was gunned down in front of New York Hilton Hotel or New York Hilton Midtown, about 280 miles from Altoon, by a Mark's assailant who approached from behind. The killer opened fire at around 6:45 a.m. Surveillance footage showed before fleeing on foot and then on bike into Central Park, authorities said. The last footage of the alleged gunman put him in a bus depot in Upper Manhattan. Thompson's slaying sent shockwaves throughout the corporate healthcare world. You know what's funny though about his killing though? He knew, innit? He knew as soon as he got shot. I think he knew. As soon as he got shot and he turned around, 'cause that's a weird thing. He got shot in the back, but he was able to turn around as he fell. So he saw the guy. I think the moment he saw the guy, he knew why. I think he knew why instantly. I don't think he was under any illusions as to why he got murked. I think he was like, oh shit. He realized straight away why he got shot. He probably didn't know the guy. I'm pretty sure he didn't know him. But I'm sure he figured out in that moment when he saw the guy, how he was standing there, how professional the hit looked. You know, how he was just standing in the perfect stance. No swaying left or right, no jumping up and down. I think Brian Thompson knew in that moment instantly why he got murked. I think there's no, he was under no illusions. Most likely there was what you call it, there was like inscriptions on the shell casings, right? Of the shots that were fired. I think 3 shots, three encryptions on the bullets. Most likely he probably received, you know, death threats or notices prior to the shooting, you'd imagine. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if he knew in that moment what exactly went down. But regardless, RIP Brian Thompson. That's no way to die. He looked like he was feeling himself, walking down New York Street, maybe heading to a coffee shop somewhere. Maybe he was going over his notes because allegedly he was meant to be giving some speech or something. Maybe he was walking down the street, going over his notes or what to say in the speech, kind of talking to himself, you know, or just getting some air, getting some steps in. And then bang, when you least expect it, man. You never expect it. He got murked. Absolutely wild scenes. Absolutely wild scenes. Continuing on, there's just some nice quick things before I kind of have to duck here. So, Denim Tears drops a camo cotton wreath collection. This might be actually one of the best Denim Tears collections I've seen in recent times. Maybe because I've been a little bit, maybe because I feel like, maybe because it feels like on purpose, Tremaine has kind of stopped putting out so much cotton reef stuff. Not sure if it's me. I feel like I'm not seeing as much of it on the timeline. I still see people wearing it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not seeing as many drops of the cotton reef stuff. I don't know, maybe if I'm gassing it, but I think it feels like he's started to like hold back on dropping as many cotton reefs as he was in the past. So now we're not getting as many. So because we're not getting as many, when you see it, it feels fresh. And maybe because I'm in a camo mood at the moment, I'm buying a lot of camo pieces and shit. I'm on Vinted buying a ton of camo shit, much to the chagrin of certain people. But I'm buying a lot of camo stuff at the moment. So maybe I'm in the camo mood. But I feel like this camo stuff is a bit more fresh, a bit more interesting, and kind of presents the cotton reef in a whole different light, personally for me. Especially some of it being tonal as well. So this is courtesy of Hypebeast. It says Denim Tears is gearing up for a Coote season with a new release, launching its camo cotton reef collection. Denim Tears is taking one of his most iconic prints and dropping a seasonal collection just in time for the holidays. It launched in December 10th in a pop-up shop here in London. I'm sure most of it's already gone, so don't even bother trying to get it now, but it's worth kind of checking over. You got some blue camo pieces here on the zip-up hoodie, which is pretty nice. You've also got it with some matching sweatpants, which are nice too. It also features in some light camo too with what's it, desert camo, I guess you'd call this. Some pink camo also, which kind of reminds me of that iconic picture of Lil Wayne wearing the fucking babe camo pink with a hoodie and a jumper and shit in the streets. You got what I would deem to be tiger camo also featured here, and the sweatpants also, and you got some white camo as well. So I ain't mad at it. I think it's probably one of the best things I've done in a while. Definitely one of my favorites, and the accompanying editorial pictures and shit are pretty cool. This one features Clint from Corteiz, the founder of Corteiz here, wearing the pair. I think that might actually be his Porsche, or just fucking sick. I think that might be his Porsche too, which makes it look extra hard instantly. He's wearing the tiger camo sweatsuit here with the cotton reefs in black, kind of tonal look going on there. You got there with the sweatpants, and he's also wearing his Hirachis of his recent collections that he put out. So that makes it look 10 times cooler, by the way, personally for me. I think some of the, maybe it's a London thing, but I think some of the guys that Tremaine has doing the lookbooks for Denim Tears in the US, they kind of look a bit dusty, you know. They kind of look like, you know those kind of New York downtown LES black hipster guys that look like they fucking sleep in ashtrays. But I think when this guy's in London, we kind of refine, we kind of make it look a little bit more special. So I think he looks way better with Clint wearing it. And there's also some more pictures of him in the editorial wearing some other stuff as well. This looks like it's a pajama set. It's like, that's really cool too. There's a pajama set too that he made with a cotton reef. I'm not mad at that in the slightest. There's also one here featuring Slawn wearing the camo Oh, that looks really hard, by the way. The camo white with the pink pants as well. That's really fucking good. You got some of the pajama set. I don't know if that fur hat is included in it, but you've also got a do rag here that I haven't seen featured. That's quite nice. The camo do rag with a cotton wreath on it too. The cotton sweatsuits. But again, the unfortunate thing about all this stuff, like when you go outside, the people that you actually see wearing this aren't this cool. The people that you see wearing this are like, you know, Chinese international exchange students, you know, unfortunately, and like really nerdy white kids. You don't see cool people like this wearing this stuff. That's unfortunate about the cotton wreath. It's become so popular that regular people tend to wear this way more than the cool people that you want to see wearing it. But regardless, still looks fucking hard. Is that a bomber jacket too? Oh, look at that. I didn't see that. There's a down jacket there too. Wow, I love that. I would wear the fuck out of that. There's like a North Face down jacket type style thing, which I'm surprised he hasn't got a collaboration with that actually, but bad now. I'm surprised he hasn't done a North Face Nupsy collaboration. That would be pretty hard with the cotton wreath all over it. That'd go crazy. There you go again. You got the desert camo there. You got the pink camo there as well with the desert camo do rag, which I love. The white do rag looks really hard, by the way, as does the blue camo. It looks really good. What's this? Did they have all that? Is that his chains or what? Oh, those are the. I forgot the. Is it Catholic? Those are the. Is it like Latin or Hispanic? I forgot what the thing is. You meant it. It's like, I think it's like a Catholic Christian thing, right? They're usually saints that they put on little chains and they're kind of embroidered. And sometimes you can get them in plastic. Sometimes they come in cotton. I forgot what the name of it, what they call them. But they're these little squares that you can put around your neck and shit. And then you got here again desert. You got the white camo there featured again. Looks pretty cool. And you've also got the full collection here, as you can see. Really, really nice, man. Probably one of the best things I've seen from Denim Tears in a long fucking time. Not gonna lie, I really fucking like this. One of the best things I've ever seen. So I'm sure all of this is already sold out. There's also pictures of the party they did recently. Denim Tears, an ideal party in London. Pop-up friends came from Soho to hear DJ sets from Jay Messiah, George, someone called Aya along the way, and drinks by some Belvedere, whatever. He's got Skepta there at the party. Some people hanging out in London. Nice little vibe there, right? Cool, man. This is what you want to see in it. All these influences. It's funny these things still exist in it, because I remember back in the day I used to be obsessed with this sort of shit, going to these sort of events and being cool and hanging around and being seen and shit. But after time, you realize, you know, they're a bit of a waste of time, really. Unless you're going there to actually network properly. If you're just going to be seen, it's a waste of time. Obviously, networking probably works, but you know, rather be at home doing what needs to be done. But regardless, looks pretty cool. Love it, and definitely one of the best things I've seen them do in a while. What's this video? There's a video here as well with Clint. What's this doing about?
This girl's like Boxing Day, trying to stick to the plan. I ain't using in the sunset or fly into my line. Boston Street, 12 bills across the sleep. Do the rag away, you know what I'm saying? Stepping up. Yeah. Bang.
It feels like he's also doing a lot more. I think he's doing a lot more himself personally. I've said it previously before. That video he did with DJ AG when he gave him the jacket. I feel like Corteiz is obviously a sick brand, but I feel like another part of being a brand is that you also have to be a bit of a personality. Maybe he wasn't really on that in the beginning, which is why you get the kind of, you know, mysterious kind of, you know, stances and pictures and stuff all the time. But I feel like he's becoming a lot more camera friendly, which is probably going to help the brand anyway in general. People are going to like his personality. They're going to think he's fun, think he's cool, think he's funny, and eventually it's going to end up giving the brand another push, you know. So I don't think it's a coincidence that you're seeing a lot more of Clint in front of camera. You know, it's not just Corteiz is pushing, it's also pushing himself as a person of interest. But yeah, in general, that camo collection is pretty hard. I'm sure it's all sold out already, but if you can get it, try and get it yourself. But it does look fucking hard. Maybe the best thing they've done in a long time. Talking about the best thing, here we go to the worst thing. Palace and Needles. Wild one for Needles, man. Wild one for Needles. There's something going on. Like, from the time I saw Needles collaborating with Hidden NY, I was like, raw, what's going on there? I remember there was a period of time where I think when A$AP Rocky and them, man, were wearing all the track pants, there was a period where I think I heard or read somewhere that the people at Needles were trying to figure out a way to sell the track pants and track suits together. They were refusing people buying just the track pants, because what was happening was that those track pants that, you know, A$AP Rocky and all those guys were popularized a few years ago, everyone was just buying the track pants, but obviously they make them as a track suit. So they were getting left with all this overstock, all this stock of like jackets that no one was buying. So they were trying to maybe figure out a way to force people to buy the tops as well by making you have to buy the top if you want the pants. But obviously, no one wants that. Everyone wants the fucking pants. And the suit itself is fucking expensive. I think the pants themselves, I think retail might be like 300 plus. So I think the suit itself is probably like 600, which is really crazy for like a tracksuit. So that was the issue. Then I saw them randomly collaborating with Hidden NY. I thought personally for me, that's a big L. As much as I like the recent Hidden NY collabs, I think the A6 they've done is pretty good collaboration. I think Hidden NY have done a pretty good collaboration with I. But in general, they're pretty meaty, pretty shitty platform, personally for me. Very uninspired, very kind of copycatty and kind of lame. So for Needles to collaborate with them was a little bit shit. And now, collaborating with like, you know, the kind of collaboration incubator and machine that is Palace now, which, you know, essentially what they're doing, also feels like a little bit of a lame thing, personally for me. It feels like they're kind of all over the place, not really figuring out where they're going. Some of the stuff is decent enough, don't get me wrong, but it just feels like Palace is just putting out unnecessary, like so much stuff out there. There's so much like content, so much like garments and clothing. Like, where is this all? Like, surely all this stuff isn't selling. Surely some of this stuff is ending up in a landfill site somewhere. This stuff is choking a turtle somewhere. This stuff is like, you know, smothering fucking starfish. Like, surely there's just so much shit that they put out on a constant basis. It's just like, god damn it! Like, who's buying all this stuff? Like, who? They've got their own collection they put out every season. What is that? Two a year. Then you got the collabs. Like, it feels like they're doing like 6 a year of those. It's like so much clothes, and I wonder where it's all going. But there are some nice bits in it here and there. Obviously I'm a fan of this cheetah print sort of like hoodie thing. This patchwork mesh mohair jumper is hard as hell. The denim suit is okay. The tracksuit is really fire. How they've kind of reinterpreted the tracksuit. The iconic Needles tracksuit, they've kind of made it look more sportswear in a way. They've kind of, you know, angled some of the stripes on the inside. They've kind of, you know, it feels like they've taken inspiration from like a different sportswear brand and basically applied some of the Needles aesthetic on there. Still, I think that's like satin or whatever velour print on there as well, which is pretty cool. I'm not too mad at that. That shirt is pretty nice. Again, not too mad at that. That jean suit there is quite nice too, with the double knee thing going on. Not too mad at that as well. The hat is hard as hell. I'm hoping that hat does have bunny ears like that, but I don't think it is. I just think this is like a styling thing. I think the stylist probably just you know, knock their hand in between there to kind of give this little bit of a thing. But if this is this kind of like bunny ear, fox ear type of thing going on, this is a really hard hat. It looks like it might be mohair or something. I don't like the logo, I'm not gonna lie. The fucking Needles logo and the Palace logo is a bit too much for me. I'll probably turn it around. It's a bit too much branding there, but I don't mind. I'm not mad at that at all. Obviously the hoodie's nice. The tracksuit I said already is nice. And here's some of the product shots. So this might be the best the best jean suit. This sort of like double knee thing. This is pretty decent as well. Then you've got the matching a different. So you got two. So you got one with the brown and one with the black patches. Cool. The tracksuit is really nice. As I said previously, it kind of reminds me of it kind of feels like they've taken the template or the design of like a what's that brand called? Is it Teshani or like a Fila or like of an old, I don't know, like one of those type of brands, and just apply the Needles, you know, branding on there, which I think is pretty cool. So that's a really nice track jacket. The jacket can be worn by itself, look really hard. Or they've got a cheetah print one as well. That's really nice as well. And the matching track pants are as well really nice. So the track pants and the track suit's probably the hardest bits out of it. The hoodie's really nice too, but I don't like the logo embroidery there. Even though it's tonal, I think there's too much. You can just leave it off. You need to have it on there. Look at the mohair jumper. The mohair jumper has been spoiled by that logo, by the way. This patchwork mohair jumper cardigan thing is perfect, but I think that logo spoils it personally for me. It's not necessary. It could be tonal or just not have it at all, but hey. Oh, look at the hoodie. It's got a big logo. See all these logos, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. You got the big one on the back. Like, do you really need to have cheetah print, chest logo, and the back logo? Do you really need all of that? Really? It's just too much, man. God damn. And I think is that embroidered as well? Yeah, you can't even get that off. You can't even say that. I think that might be embroidered. You can't even take that off. I think that might be embroidered. Jesus Christos. Okay, cool. The t-shirt's quite nice. Reminds you of an Adidas kind of sportswear t-shirt. I'm not too mad at that. And the bucket hat is okay, not the best, okay. And then of course, oh yeah, the hat is bunny ears. That's nice. It's like a fox ear bunny ear type of situation. So that is quite hard. That might be the nicest thing actually in the collection. this bunny ear, fox ear type of situation here going on. I'm not mad at that in the slightest. That actually might be some of the best things in the collection itself. But as I said previously, I feel like these guys are putting out way too much stuff. It feels like we've been inundated with Palace gear. You can't really separate it anymore. It feels like you're just being smothered. You've been inundated. You've been fucking, you know, it's a tsunami of fucking clothing, a tsunami of garments that just kind of hitting you time and time and time again. I don't sure who's fucking buying all this shit. I'm not sure who it's for. I'm sure it's doing well for them money wise, bank account wise, lining their pockets and allowing them to kind of continue on hiring more staff, opening more stores, making more collections. But surely at some point, let's just focus back on what we do, innit? Like year in, year out. This, I don't know, the collections just don't stop. It's just like constant collections, constant fucking collaborations. It never fucking ends. It feels like just the other day they just did one with who? What's the fucking brand called? Oh, I forgot the fucking brand. I've got something from them as well. If they did a collaboration with some Japanese brand recently, just to read the other day, Vivian Westwood just dropped, and that was fucking hard, but that's been forgotten about. It's just too much, man, for me. It's just too fucking much. But you know, maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I'm in the wrong when it comes to too much, and maybe more people out there like it than hate it, and I just have to suck it up. Who freaking knows? Who freaking knows? Anyways, my friends, that has been the Agostinho Zinga Show episode number 842. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company as per usual. If it's the first time we're reaching a show via the YouTube, you know what to do. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the comments, I'd be greatly appreciated. If you listen to it via the podcast app, of course, leave me a 5-star review. Links and stuff to me and whatever else can be seen in the description, emails, social media, all that malarkey. If you listen to the audio side of the pod, you'll hear my tune of the day. My tune of the day today will be from the great and the mighty High on Fire, from their album that came out this year, I think maybe a few months ago, called Come Off the Storm. It's called Burning Down. You guys know why I'm playing this. One of my favorite metal songs of late. This is my favorite metal song of late from the band High on Fire. The track is called Burning Down. Please, that'll be my tune today. For those of you listening via the podcast app, you will hear it. If you're watching this via the YouTube, you will not, because you know YouTube copyright and all that malarkey. But regardless, thank you for tuning in. Been a pleasure, never a chore. Enjoyed it so much. Make sure you like everything you see online, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Peace.